Good evening, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Irons channel. It's Friday evening. It's the long bank holiday weekend. So, I hope you guys have got something nice organised, relaxing. Don't think about West Ham too much. Just to have a nice, chilling, relaxing, long weekend. Hopefully, the weather is better than what it's been. Hopefully, there's no more thunder, no more showers. No more torrential rain, that kind of thing. So we fingers crossed. So we are back with another tactical analysis show, following on the great support and success of the Fonseca and Amorim ones. Could be the final one, I think. I think this could be the final one. It's the one that I didn't really want to do. As you know, Amorim is kind of my favourite out the three, followed closely by Fonseca. This one is a bit different to the other two, really. Julen Lopetegui, the manager from Spain. He kind of managed Wolverhampton Wanderers. He fell out with the board during summer over false promises, over transfer budget, things like that, and he's walked out. He hasn't been in any job since then, which for me doesn't look good. You know, if you're a good manager, in demand manager, then I know similar could be said of Conte and Mourinho, but the feeling with Conte and Mourinho is that they were great, good managers. Like footballers, managers have a period where they peak, that they're young, they're bright, they bring fresh ideas, they got ambition, they're kind of up for it and it works. But then after about a decade maybe, it's time for someone young to come in, freshen it up. It's simple as that. So when we were linked with Rafa Benitez a couple of years ago, it's 10 years too late. When we think about Mourinho, it's the history with fondness we remember Mourinho. It's the Mourinho you remember when he first came into Chelsea. Now it's a tired Mourinho. It's slightly out-of-date Mourinho. Millionaire Mourinho. Not sure how much fire in the belly he's got. But these managers, the problem is they don't change their methods and tactics. So Mourinho will still try to create that Chelsea team again. But players like Terry, Lampard, Drogba, Essien, Petr Cech, they don't grow on trees. They come along once every 20 years. And then when you do have those group of players together, that's when you have that golden period. But it doesn't happen that often, right? So it's about timing, right? With Pellegrini, he came 10 years too late. He obviously was towards the end, nearer to retirement than starting off, and it was just not a good fit at that time. David Moyes was good for, like I said, stopping us from going down, stabilising us, but then we've overran that kind of saga, I think, too much. And when you look at Ruben Amorim, he's going to be the next big guy, the next Mourinho, and this is the time to get him. Before that big job, whatever he wants. This is the perfect timing to get Ruben Amorim in, but who, by the way, got a glowing reference from Mourinho, really, same country. He said he's a very good manager, and any club will be very, very lucky to have him. It's a great reference there. Fonseca, I think the time is there. I think it's the timing is there. He's been around a while. He's not a young manager, but he's not old manager either. I mean, he's 51, and for some fans that's too old. It's not. It's nice in the middle. 40s really young, 60s, 50s nicely in the middle. He's managed, Ukraine, Italy, France, Portugal. Nice full set of countries, nice experience. And now is the perfect time for Fonseca to enter the Premiership, I feel. So with these two managers I've just spoken about, the timing is perfect. With Julen Lopetegui, we'll go into it a bit more. It's a very, very different style. It's actually a style that's closer to David Moyes than with the other two, right? So, bit of an alarm bells ringing. It certainly isn't low block like David Moyes. I don't think any manager's bad as that. But it's closer to him than the way the other two play their football. Put it that way, right? So let's get into it without further ado. Let's get my screen up and running for you naughty people. Julen Lopetegui, 57 years old. Yeah, that for me is a bit too old, with respect. That for me is a bit too old. He's left Wolves August the 3rd, everyone, 2023. That's not a good sign for me. He's from Spain. Let's go straight into points per match. You know by now what that means with Jazz, isn't it? Points per match is literally that. Jazz always looks at 1.75 and above for a good manager, really. So if you look at his career, really, up to Spain under 21, it's all been in Spain. So, yeah, internal scouting roles at Real Madrid, Castilla, who are all teams offsprings from Real Madrid, then Spain under 20, Spain under 19, Spain under 21, and then in 2014 for about a year and a half, 78 matches for Porto. So that's a very good job with a good club across the border. PPM 2.24, and you kind of would expect that where leagues are small, dominated by 2-3 clubs. So that, again, that's very good. On the back of that, he became the Spain manager, again 2.40, 2016, 20 games. Around that time, Spain were up there as one of the best international teams, so you kind of expect that. Real Madrid, 14 matches, very poor PPM, 1.43. So that was a bit controversy, wasn't it, where he kind of took on the Spain job. Then behind the Spain Federation, he started to talk about becoming Real Madrid's manager. That kind of didn't go down well. They kind of got rid of him, and then he fell out with Real Madrid, or Real Madrid, something wasn't quite correct in the back. So that's happened to him twice now, where, well, 3 times, isn't it? He's kind of, well, he got let go of Spain in controversial circumstances. Then Real Madrid didn't like something about him. And Wolves is the same. He's fallen out with Wolves as well. Sevilla, I don't think he did. But if we go into Sevilla, 1.85, I think that's a good PPM. About 3 years. Sevilla, I think we played him as well. Very good. That got him the Wolves job. And not very good PPM. 1.30 there. Literally, like I said, he took them when they were at the struggling, and he built them back up, made them more stable, harder to play against, and things like that, which we'll go into on the tactics board. 27 matches. While I'm on here, I just want to look at David Moyes' PPM out of interest. I haven't looked at it. Let's see what David Moyes' PPM is, if I can find him. Yeah, let's have a look. Come on. Premier League. I know I'm going a bit sidetracked, but I just want to, for your benefit and mine, I do want to look at, get those adverts out the way. There we go. West Ham. Moisey, where are you? Naughty Moisey. I can't find him, can I? Typical. Where's the... Oh, there he is. There we go. Shouldn't be too long, everyone. Moisey, PPM 1.54. Okay. Not bad. Not good. Not bad. Yeah, just that, not bad. Yeah. Yeah. If it was 1.6, 1.65, then 1.75, that would be really good. Man United is 1.73. Everton 1.54. Oh, same as Everton. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just average. So that's interesting. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I thought it would be a bit more at Everton for him. It's all right. So that's what? Average of between... Because I thought he used to finish between 5th and 9th every year. Bit like us, maybe. But yeah, just that. Just what it says on the tin. So that's that. Let me show you now... Yeah, let me get rid of that screen. I want to show you... Let's start off with how he set up when he played West Ham while he was manager of Wolves. Let me just have a quick look at that for you guys. I like doing that. So let me get that on the screen. There we go. There we go. Right. So this was January 2023. He'd just taken over Wolves, maybe been there 6, 7, 8 weeks. They won 1-0 Wolves. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how he sets up. It's 4-3-3. 4-3-3. They won 1-0. So striker, Cunha striker up there with a striker / wingers either side of him. The most interesting thing for me is the three in the middle, because they are all, more often than not, they are possession-based, ball-playing, highly technical footballers. So that means they're not Souček, who's I don't know what Souček is. He a CDM? He's not a ball-playing midfielder. He's not cultured. He's not technically great. He's not really a CDM. He's got a lot of energy, comes up with the odd goal, works hard, runs around. I don't know what bucket to put Souček. Souček would not fit into this model, by the way, in this three. To play in this three, you have to be cultured, technically gifted, a bit like Modric and all those footballers we had in the past at West Ham, the Ben Younes, the Berkoviches, the Moncurs, the Bishops, Nobles and Bad. So those kind of players. So Matinho, Neves. I don't know too much about Nunez, but I think he's good in his own way. But certainly Matinho and Neves, you kind of know what I'm talking about. They're not your typical dirty CDMs like Alvarez, who largely wins the ball back and then maybe doesn't have that kind of passing range or that comfortable on the ball as these two are. So even Alvarez will be hard pressed to be comfortable in this kind of lineup, because it's kind of possession based. So let me go into West Ham thing now. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me just hide that now, and let me have a look. Let me just show you something. There we go. Perfect. So I'm just going to share my screen with you lovely guys, with the West Ham players, because that's when you'll get interested in this. Share the screen. Look how technically gifted I am. Wonderful, and I struggling with a glass of water in my hand. As you know, it's the rum time, isn't it? Let me go a bit smaller. There we go, you lovely people. Hopefully you can see that. So 4-3-3. He does do 4-2-3-1, but he does more often than not 4-3-3, right? And like I mentioned, the three up front, not much of a problem. Antonio equivalent, and then a winger / striker either side. That's fine. The width again will come from Kufal and Emerson, the fullbacks, largely. The wingers and the strikers will be compact. They'll be kind of inwards more than outwards, if you get my drift. But the three in the middle is the most interesting. Paqueta will fit that. No problem. Paqueta will be good. The problem with Paqueta, though, is that Lopetegui has a very patient, slow, possession-based style. It's a bit like Man City, where I know a lot of you, it's tippy-tappy actually. It's quite a lot of it is tippy-tappy without really being that exciting or effective. It's largely possession-based, 60% possession sometimes was his kind of stats. High rate of completed passes, but the build-up is slow. Right, so largely what the back four, the three do, they just keep passing it between themselves in their own half sometimes, waiting for a gap in the other side. It's not direct, fast, exciting, overlapping as the other two managers. This is just keeping possession of the ball and slow rotation. I think when they looked at the speed of his players in terms of how quickly they move the ball around or what they do with it, it was one of the lowest in the league, 1.24. That kind of, it was quite slow in that context. Slow, possession based, waiting for a gap, waiting for a space in the opposition's kind of gap and area, and then you kind of go forward. So it's very compact. You defend as a group, and then you just pass your way into the other side, and then hopefully Kudus and Tony Bowen come alive, and then Emerson Kufal can provide the width really. You defend from the front, and then you press a bit more than kind of Moyes really. Possession based, yeah. Not many goals either in his is kind of at Wolves, certainly not many goals. You play on the front three as much as you can. You counter press. You crowd the centre midfield. Don't give much room. Fullbacks provide the width, like I said. A good thing is that he uses all of his subs. His average time of making a substitution, certainly at Wolves, I think was around 47 minutes. So he uses all of the subs. He uses them quickly. He makes some calls in tactics if he has to. So, it's a bit different to David Moyes, but it's kind of more towards Moyes than the other two, if you get my drift. And the problem we got here again, like with the other two managers, Paqueta will be okay, but he loses the ball too much for Lopetegui style, and he goes showboating too much. What Lopetegui will want is just him to keep possession and just keep passing it, waiting for a gap. You will not want him trying to do these tricks like he's at a circus, that tricks and flicks. He will not want that. So certainly Paqueta's got technically gifted. He can keep the ball. He's strong enough like that. Alvarez technically is not as gifted as a typical Lopetegui centre mid. He can stick his ball in. I mean, he can stick his foot in, no problem. He can win the ball back. But he's not that comfortable with the ball, I don't think. He's not a Nunez or a Matinho. He's not on that level, right? But for now, I think I'll just put him in there. Souček, no way. Ward-Prowse could, because Ward-Prowse is quite patient. He can keep the ball ticking over, I suppose. Passes are okay. So I think Ward-Prowse might be okay. He might be okay. The back four are about the same, long as they're quite tightly, you defend as a team, that kind of thing. It will be all right. So it's not a spectacular football. It's not as bad as Moyes, but it's not as exciting either as what I want, really. He's 57 years old. If he becomes our manager, I'm not going to be that happy. But as soon as he signs and becomes our manager, I mean, rest in peace. I mean, I remember when Glenn Roeder became manager, I was fucking pissed off. Sorry, I swore. I was very angry when Roeder came in. I just didn't think. And that's what happened in the end. He just wasn't up to it. God bless him. Great coach, great man, respected, but didn't quite have the cutting edge to be manager. Some of you might say that about Billy Bonds, but I don't want to go into that. Harry Redknapp was certainly a manager. Had all the traits of one, really had that ruthless side to him as well, and very cunning, very clever in the transfer market. Lopetegui's not bad in the transfer market. He's very careful. Most of his signings are quite good. They're not as wasteful as Scamacca's and Haller's. I don't think he would treat a player like that. I don't think he would waste money like that. Where you bring someone in and you don't know where he plays, or he obviously doesn't fit your system, and we've had all this circus, and we continue to have this circus, as you said. I mean, some signings have saved the face of West Ham 3-4 this season, as you know, but don't forget, a lot of money's been wasted by Moyes. And I will say Moyes, even though I know Sullivan stuck his fingers in and Tim Starton coming in hasn't helped Moyes and Sullivan, all that shit. But I think Lopetegui largely... And then you can see how many jobs he's had in the youth of Spain and stuff. So I think he works well with young players. He's a good coach. He's respected. You don't walk into Real Madrid or Spain national team without having something about you. And whatever trouble he had with Wolves, he improved them, right? We can't go away from that. But I've told you the positives and negatives. The negatives, he hasn't had a job. Doesn't say a lot for someone, although it might be his choice. I don't know. How loyal is he? Well, it doesn't look good when he's fallen out with 2-3 clubs in the past. What I do like about the Wolves thing is that he's not a yes man then, is he? A lot of you talk about that. So if the board promised him something, they didn't give it to him, he fucking walked out. He walked out. So some of you might like that. Yeah, I like that. Someone who sticks to, you got to keep your promises between board and the manager. Unless something untoward has happened where they need the money, then that's all understood. But if they've got the money, I think a lot of money was coming in prior to him coming, and they had an expensive team, Wolves. They did spend a lot of money. I remember looking through some of the articles. So it's give and take on both, isn't it, really? So pretty easy to do tactics with this one. This is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's 3 up front. It could be 4-2-3-1, but it's largely 3 up front. They stay compact. They stay together. The 3 in the middle is the most interesting to me, where Paqueta could more or less do the role with a bit more coaching. But Alvarez, I'm not sure about that. Unless Alvarez can fit as one of the centre-backs, I don't know. Prowsey could do it. But I think you need more technically good on the ball players to play in those three. And they're certainly around. There's certainly around people who can stick their foot in, and they just keep it ticking over, that kind of thing, really. And the fullbacks doesn't matter what manager, what formation comes in, the fullbacks going to be needing looking at. We need young, overlapping, fullbacks, stroke wing backs. We're going to need that because all the formations of all three managers that are in for the West Ham job, that are in the running for the job, require wing backs to have a pivotal role in all the lineups. So that's going to be really important. So for me, we need Antonio replacement, fullbacks replacing. The two centre-backs need more coaching on defending or rotate them and get someone else in. And we're going to need to beef up the midfield in the middle, I think. Don't know what role Alvarez will have. Maybe he's more gifted than I'm giving him benefit for. Maybe he's better than what I'm thinking. But he's not on that Nunez, Martinho level. So that's it from that, really. That was a pretty simple video for me to do. It's it's kind of possession based, slow, careful, precise, and patient. You need patience as a fan because they'll just keep passing it between them, tipping and tapping in largely in their own half, waiting for space. It's not that great to watch, right? It's different. It's different type of football. Maybe it's continental football. It's continental football. You just keep passing it around, waiting for gaps, and so not a lot of goals are scored. Maybe not a lot of goals are conceded. It's a bit better than Moyes, but it's just that it's a bit better than Moyes. Nothing more, nothing less. So I'd rather have the other two, and if this one comes in, then let's see how it goes. I think what Sullivan likes about him is obviously he loves a manager with a long CV, isn't it? He loves all that, a bit like Pellegrini, isn't he? He's got that Pellegrinish CV a little bit, isn't he? And there's no money to pay, which is awful. That's such a driving force in the board that are pushing towards. So the board want him, Lopetegui, because they don't have to pay any money, and Noble certainly, and Tim Stein. What we're hearing is they want Ruben Amorim. They want the best out there. You got to reach for the stars, you know. I mean, Villa got Emery in, that ambitious. You got to go for it. I'm not saying he's going to say, but you've got to make sure that you give him all the tools, you excite the man about West Ham, and give him all the money he needs, and you pay for him. And 9, 10, 11, 12 million for certainly the best guy out there, which should be what you should be trying to get, is not much in today's football, as far as I'm concerned, really. So again, put your comments in and I will reply to each one of them like I have been doing. And keep sharing, keep subscribing. This is getting very, very interesting now. It looks like it's getting close. But what the most interesting thing for me is, when will they announce that David Moyes isn't staying? It's got to happen before the Luton game. It's got to happen. So it's coming. Otherwise, the press conferences are getting nasty. They're getting niggly. It's not good. It's not fair on Tim Stein. It's not fair on David Moyes. It's not fair on the players. It's all on the board. The board have got to sort this shit out. And they've done it, the same shit over and over again all the time. And they've got to fix this. It's a painful, slow death and end to the season, really, for everyone's concerned. So I will catch up with you when some more news comes about our lovely club. Until then, hope you liked the video. Put your comments in. Let me know what you think, and then I'll reply. So take care, everyone. Have a great evening. I'm going to have some rum, and I'll see you later on. What did I just put up there? Take care.